What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to an all-new 343 Sample Challenge. Thank you for joining us today. We are going to be listening to some sample flips from over on the 343 Labs Discord server, which is a totally free Discord server to join if you're into music production, if you're learning, if you're growing as a music producer. You can join that Discord server for free. Link is in the description. Participate in our future sample challenges, which will actually have a new home. We'll talk about that in a moment. And today, I am not alone, my friends. Well, I'm not alone because there's lots of cool people in chat. Hello, TI80 Mark, 77 Social, White, Sub-Zero, and everybody watching over on the 343 Lab chat. Some people are bouncing between them, like Bishop. Hello, Jock the Boss. My mom is in chat. My dad's in chat. Amazing. Hello to everybody in chat. But I'm also joined by 343 Labs instructor, Techno extraordinaire. You know him, you love him. His name is John Selway. John, welcome to the stream.
What an introduction. How's it going, everybody? Thanks for having me here.
So, fun part about
What's
today.
up, everyone?
Fun part about today is John actually created the sample that everybody is flipping today that was posted over on Discord. And not only that, we're going to choose our favorite entry from today, which there are a lot of entries today. So we're going to speed through this intro. And we are going to pick our favorite to win a copy of Arturia Pigments 3.5. So thank you to Arturia for hooking up one lucky winner with that. So we love that. John, something cool is happening over at 343 Labs. Did you know this? Something very cool is happening.
I heard something. I might have a little something to do with it too. But yeah, we have our new. What do you call it? It's a new big thing. It's
a new
program,
big thing. That's what we're calling it. Yes.
It's a new big thing.
Yes.
That's right. It's a hub. I don't know. It's 343 Studio.
That's right. It's our new platform.
And we've been testing this out for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, this is our new platform. Yeah, platform for music producers. I'm just going to show it to everybody now. So check this out, folks. Previously, 343 Labs, we've had like big courses, like 12-week courses. John teaches some, Abe teaches some, all of our other instructors as well. Really deep. But now we have this different approach to music education and community and mentorship where it's more of less of a take a 12-week course and more of just a sustaining thing that you get. Think of it like almost like a gym membership for your music production skills, because it contains a lot of things, right? It's got feedback sessions where you get direct feedback on your music, master classes from greats like John Selway, even perhaps, discounts on great gear and software. Cool classes, pre-recorded classes. We have some really cool ones. That's why I was in New York a few weeks ago. Some of you were asking. We were shooting new classes. Mentorship, so one-on-one guided mentorship, and collaboration workshops, which I believe there's even one happening. Is there one happening today or something? I think so. And the cool thing about it is...
Yeah, isn't Abe doing a sample challenge? Oh, no, I'm sorry, a collab today?
Yeah. So there's a collab workshop happening today. So if you want to link up with a bunch of very cool music producers, you can. And the amazing thing is we are offering a 14-day free trial for everybody. So you could participate in that collaboration workshop today and check out all the other cool stuff on the platform for completely free. There's even a free tier that you get some stuff in. So sign up for the free tier at the very least. And then there's a couple other tiers, and you can see the things that you get for those different tiers. You can pay monthly, yearly, etc. Check out the site, studio.343labs.com. But I definitely encourage you, if you're looking for something fun to do today, make some music, meet some cool new people, if I can speak, do the collab workshop today. And you can do that totally for free. And you can watch a couple of these videos, listen to some people that did our beta program. They really enjoyed it. And most importantly to this stream, our sample challenges will be hosted over on 343 Studio from here on out. So that's where you will get your sample to download. That's where you will get to post your entries for the sample challenges. So go join over at the free tier if you want, or check out some of the other tiers if you want as well, and just see what we got going. We got big things coming. Oh, look, that's my face in a video on the website. Can you believe that? Amazing. Wow. Anyway, go figure. 10:05, John, you know what I think? We got to get into this sample challenge.
We got to get into it. There's a lot of submissions.
Yes, I think.
So we got to power through.
I think what I'll do first is play for people. I got all my windows all askew here. I think what I'll do first is play for people a little bit of that initial sample that you provided. And maybe you can just talk a little bit about it. Where'd it come from? What was the, I don't know.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about the sample. I'll play it for people now.
Right. So actually, you remember a little while ago, we did a sample challenge with Max saxophone?
Yeah.
Right? And I obviously I joined in, not to join the contest because I'm not allowed, but I thought it was a fun sample. So I used it to make kind of a house track.
Oh.
And this sample is actually one of the synth sounds that I designed for that challenge.
Is it from the, so it's from the Max Sax sample?
Yeah.
So this is sample challenge inception.
No, it's not made from it's not a sample. Exactly. No, I made some sounds. I think I used Operator to make this sound.
Nice.
So, I just made a simple chord stab and it's one of the layers that I added along with the saxophone samples. So I figured it would be fun to kind of have that second layer of complexity here. But
totally.
Yeah, it's not a very complicated sound. It's just some sort of, dubby, echoey chord stabs, which you hear this type of sound a lot in house and techno, dub techno, etc. And I felt like it was a good kind of raw starting point for a lot of different things.
In a lot of ways, I think a less complex sample for a sample challenge may actually be better, or like easier to work with, I could say. Easier to flip, easier to turn into something new. What I usually find is that people go one of two ways. They either take the sample and we can't even recognize it in the track that they make, or they take the sample and they maintain the integrity of it, I guess you could say, and they incorporate it in a new genre, new style. So I'm curious. We usually get all kinds of different submissions, as you know. Should we just jump right into it and start listening?
Definitely. We should jump right in.
Great. And what I'll say for folks is that we're jumping right in. We have a lot of entries today. We're probably going to do some reacting live over these tracks rather than spending minutes after each track, because we would be live forever if we did that. So we're going to do our best to provide with some good feedback, our quick thoughts about the tracks, and then just keep things moving so we can hear lots of music. So hello, everybody in chat. There's been a lot to cover. Sorry I haven't said hello to everybody, but welcome. We're about to listen to some cool sample flips. Thank you for joining us today. We are live on my channel and on youtube.com/343labs. All right, so I got the first one pulled up here. John, you ready to go? It's from user 746.
Is this one?
Say that again.
Yeah, on that's the name on SoundCloud. I think the name on our Discord server is Symbolic.
Yes. All right, perfect. Let's listen to Symbolics. I'm pressing play in 3, 2, 1, play. Hitting the ground running here.
Totally. Definitely in the context of the original in a way.
Yep.
Already I'm down with the atmosphere. Good energy level.
Especially on those drums. Hi, Nefertiti in the chat.
Hey, what's up? Nefertiti, how's it going? I'm used to seeing her on here.
I know, right? So far, structure is great.
I like the shiny ride cymbals, and I always fall back on the classic 909 ride sound for techno.
Yeah.
But this is a different ride, and it's reminding me there's other ride cymbals out there.
Other rides exist.
That sounded fine. Yeah, that's right. hear something sneaking in.
Yep. Little pluck.
Right. Yeah, I think overall this is sounding really nice. It's funny to hear like a 3-minute snippet of this style of music, which usually would go on much longer.
Right.
So keeping that in mind, like, you know, these kind of long, hypnotic, atmospheric techno grooves, right? They could go on for 7 minutes or more.
Yes.
And
Hypnotic was
evolve
the word I was
slowly
going to use.
and hypnotically. I think one constructive criticism I would give is bottom end, low end is a little light. I would love to have a bit more sub, and there's a little bass note in there.
Yeah, I cranked my volume a bit to hear that. Yeah, if that was deeper and more prominent, for sure. I was actually just when you said that, I was like, is there a bass actually? And I cranked it up, and yeah, it's there. Just want it a little bit more. Yeah, this was.
I think it'd be interesting, you know, for techno, and it's a stylistic choice also, but like to have a little bit more play between the deep frequencies of the kick and deeper bass frequencies in between.
Totally. And I think maybe the intro, we could have had a little bit more of an intro, perhaps. You know, it just, like I said, we hit the ground running. It lands with the immediate like 4 to the floor and the sample. Could we have introduce the sample in a more interesting way, something, because that sample is pretty much running through the whole track, right? So could we have given it some type of metamorphosis, perhaps, especially at the beginning, just evolve into it, rather than
even just a filter.
Yeah, exactly. Cool, but
I think like stylistically, there are tracks that are very tracky and repetitive that just start and end. That are it is somewhat stylistically appropriate to like dub techno, for example. But I still think you're right. Some more evolution would be good.
Yeah, totally. All right, let's keep things rolling. Thank you so much to Symbolic over on the Discord for submitting that track, getting us off and running with a flip of that sample that, you know, maintained the spirit of the sample, I would say. We'll see where we go from here. I'm curious to see how your influence, John, will have influenced this challenge. You know what I mean? Like how many?
Like what's the ratio of techno versions?
Yes. Let's see. All right, I got Chamber 46's track queued up. You ready for it? And we got a bunch of cool synths here listed. Prophet,
scrolling.
Rev 2, Korg MS-20, Volca Beats, Arturia Mini Brute, 2S, Moog, Subharmonicon. We got a lot of cool gear happening here. And folks,
nice. Looking forward.
In future sample challenges, some people did this, but feel free to give us a little context. If you're here in chat, let us know. If you hear your track and we're playing it and you want us to tell us a little bit about it, cool. But you can also let us know in your submission. All right, shall we play it? 46 Analog Midnight, Might, I should say, not Midnight.
Let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. This one's a little over the 3-minute mark, so we can let it fade out and give our thoughts towards the end.
Okay.
Little funky chords here at the beginning.
Interesting chords at the beginning, yeah.
Making me nod before the drums come in.
I wasn't expecting that.
No.
I was wondering what the chords playing, what synth is playing the chords, and it's here in the comments on SoundCloud. It's the Rev 2, the Prophet.
I'm just waiting for that repeated note to change or something. because it's like feels like it's building suspense the way it's like hanging on that note.
I have a question.
Yes, question.
We're over halfway through and we haven't heard the sample yet.
That is a good question. That is... I would say that's more of a statement, actually. But, well, I wonder why. Yes, good question.
Why is... Yeah, I realized that, so I said why at the end.
Yes. Do we think it has been... Have we been swindled? That's my first question. Or do we think that it has been like a granular synthesis kind of situation? Like, is this it that we're hearing right now?
Well, there's a list of gear used, and so far I hear that gear.
Right.
So
you think we're gonna insert that at the end?
We may want to pre-screen some of these.
Yes. Let's just take a closer look. I say for now. Great work, Chamber 46. We're going to fade you out.
I think we can fade.
Yes. Appreciate the entry. Please, definitely, especially if you're one of the people that will take the sample and transform it totally and take it out of its context and out of its original nature, let us know like how it's flipped so we can just like verify what's actually happening. But the Wistful Snail community member that I've seen before, they've got 343 remix in the title of their track. Says, I use the sample and my vocals, nothing else. So I think we're pretty safe on this next entry.
Right. It's there right on the face of it.
Right on the face of it.
And I'll just say, that was a nice track we just listened to. So nice work. What?
Yes. But peace and love. Flip the sample next time. In the sample challenge, perhaps. Just think about it. Or maybe you did, and we just need more context. All right, let's just get right into it with the Wistful Snail. You ready?
I am clicking now. Yes.
All right.
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1, go. All right, so just the sample and vocals.
There's got to be granular going on.
Of course.
With that cloudy pad, right?
Mm-hmm.
The tuning is interesting. I'm like, what key are we in?
Right, like I hear the melody,
it's making me feel disjointed and floaty.
Whoa. Speaking of disjointed and floaty, didn't see that coming.
Now it makes sense.
Yes. Oh, vocals. I love that synth on the upbeat.
Yeah, this is a really good example of how flexible you can be with sound design with just one sample. It's amazing. Now, yeah, really creative use of turning something into completely different sounds.
Yes. And Wistful Snail.
And, fearlessly throwing themselves into the song with the vocals.
Because sometimes a sample can dictate somebody's like genre or style that they're making, but I think it's always cool when somebody takes a sample and still makes their music with it. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't dictate what they make.
Sure,
with it.
yeah.
Whoa, nice ending. Wow, that was a journey. Thank you, Wistful Snail, for gracing us with that track. Appreciate it. I lost my chat for a little bit, but Wistful Snail is in chat. Thank you for that entry, my friend.
No, I know he made all of the sounds from the sample. Does that include the drums?
Yes, give us the lowdown, Wistful Snail. Did the drums also come from the sample? Because there's even I love that like distorted bass and stuff that's happening too. Wistful Snail says yes, the drums too. So there's a lot of very cool like
really good
twisting, mixing, and mangling of that sample. We love that. And right from the intro, I think sometimes in music production and just composing and crafting your own tracks, you can get lost in the sauce. So I imagine the initial idea for this track was not necessarily that ambient intro. It was probably more like the bouncy like verse. But then when you add something on at the beginning, like that ambient intro with that melody, that totally, I don't know, we both had a reaction when the verse actually dropped. We wouldn't have had that reaction if the song just started on that. You know what I mean? So that's like super effective. That's a good example of how to use an intro and set up your track.
Very good
well.
Contrast. I like talking about contrast.
Yes, contrast is important, especially for keeping people interested and energized throughout the music. All right.
I want to say one more thing about it, and that is mix-wise. I know we got to move along, but like, I know I felt like the percussion and the bass could have had more impact and more depth, but I also know that part of that is the sound design process and what you're starting with.
Right.
It's harder to do that. Like if you're making a kick out of a chord stab, it's not necessarily going to be as easy to get like a big thump.
Yes.
Right? So
I was thinking the same thing.
I understand the problem, but I think a lot of that it could be taken care of in the mix down stage for sure.
Yeah. Great work, Wistful Snail. And the thing about this is too, it's a noble effort to take the sample and just use that and just use the voice. But say Wistful Snail wants to finish this track one day and you want to add a couple other sounds, couple other synth sounds or something, there's no rules.
You're allowed.
Go ahead and do it. Yeah, you're allowed. You could. But the fact that starting
layer
with
up those kicks.
Yeah, starting with this sample inspired this track, like it's done its job. You know what I mean? All right, I'm bringing up Shanksy.
Definitely. Nice.
With 343 Lab Sample Challenge in the title, if you can believe that. Let's give it a listen. Let's just keep it rolling. Shanksy in 3.
All right.
2, 1, play.
Reminds me of the first one a little bit.
Yes, for sure.
Oh, but this is good. Different. It's not house. It's not steady kick drum.
Right.
At least not to start with.
Not yet.
You know, I like my electro and breaks right now.
Hi, Layson, Chad.
Interesting balance between that dark electro bass line, a little bit evil, and then the moody chords, right?
That was a cool fade.
Someone's doing like a percussion solo on top.
Right.
Like I'm waving my pen around.
I thought that was you playing that.
I'm just tapping on the mic stand.
Yeah.
The groove is good.
By this point in the track, I want something a little more, though. Well, here comes something.
Oh,
new.
there it is.
Yeah.
the evil melody just came floating in on top right when you said that. So the timing was pretty close.
Yeah.
Let's see if it happens again. There it is.
Yes. I like that you're describing it as evil. Little hints of evil floating in and out.
I mean, there's a lot of sort of dark, sinister vibes in electro.
Totally.
So that's genre appropriate. However, one constructive critical thing I will say is it sounds like the bass and the melody are not in key with the chord step.
Right. Chord step,
if you're trying to be jazzy at a certain point, but I feel like for being hypnotic and repetitive like that, like they think they need to fit together tonally a bit more.
Right. And I think there was potential for that
nice vibes.
That dark synth, that initial dark synth that comes in. Dun, 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 I think there was opportunity for that to develop a little bit more beyond just that initial melody that it played, perhaps. But I think when you were pointing out like the percussion and stuff like that, I loved that all floating on top. I love just taking some dark synths, but also adding this acoustic sounding percussion on top. I love the juxtaposition of those two things.
Sure. I agree. Yeah. And then the loop from the original sample is like, you could play with that a little bit more. I mean, either tuning it to fit the bass line or putting some effects on it or chopping it, making it a little more electro sounding somehow. I don't know. There could be, going from the previous example where like totally new soundscape was created and we didn't even recognize the original sample, somewhere in between, right?
Yeah.
Like a little bit more of the other mixed in with the original.
Yep. And last thing I'll say is like with that percussion, those percussion features like being so strong, I think one version of this track would be like that percussion section evolves even more by the end. So it becomes a super frenetic, rhythmic track by the end with lots of percussion and cool interlocking rhythms. I think that would have been one cool way to develop it further. I feel I have a little bit of like ADD when it comes to music. Like I'm always looking for like the next, like I'm looking for more, something new. So I try to reel that in, especially when I'm listening to genres
that's something to consider when
we're
listening. Well, yeah, exactly. Like there's styles of music that change a lot, and then there's styles of music that take their time.
Yes.
So you got to get the context.
Yep. All right, let's keep things rolling. The next one.
Nice work, though.
Yes, good work. Shanksy. And by the way, if you do like anybody's music that you hear today, please go give them a follow. I've got their pages obviously up on screen, so you can very easily find them. Give them a follow, show some support. But we're going to keep things rolling. I got Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero's got an Audius link. Let me hit pause on that really quick as it pops up. But Sub-Zero says, today I got a funky jam for you with some Indian vocals and perk. I really enjoyed making this. This sounds awesome. And just a good vibe to do with some air guitar with. Prepare your air guitar.
I'm ready.
Yes. There you go. Sub-Zero is always including some type of like Indian instrumentation. So it's always really cool. Usually very distinct kind of sounds mixed in these challenges from Sub-Zero. So shall we give it a listen?
Let's do it.
All right, I'm clicking play in 3, 2, 1, play. Oh.
He's got it stretched out.
Yeah, I like that. It was a nice surprise.
He knows how to mix.
The tablas are so nice where they are. I feel like they're surrounding me, which is cool.
They're like ASMR tablas. They're tickling.
Yeah. That is a good idea for a sample pack.
Where the guitar flux just faded into silence.
I didn't even know.
Like, where'd they go?
Yeah.
Right. It was sneaky.
Yes.
As much of a groove as this has, I wish the bass line had a little bit more of that. Like, because it's just, it's okay, it's playing these sustained notes that follow the chord progression, but it could.
I think in general,
it could be a little more funky.
I think in general, the rhythm section is pretty just straight ahead. It could be just a little bit. I mean, that's like I think, victim of we're always quantizing and stuff. Could be just a little bit more.
I mean, if it was just going like boom, 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 like syncopated bass notes.
Yep.
With playing with the groove would be great. Because it is funky.
It for sure is. Sub-Zero has submitted to a lot of these sample challenges and also is like an active member of my community, and their skills just keep growing and growing. So shout out to you, Sub-Zero, because your music gets better sounding more and more. The one piece of feedback I have is like that vocal thing, like the little chop, like the female vocal. To me, it wasn't of the same sound quality as all the other sounds, so it took me out of it a little bit. But otherwise, I love the sound selection. I said this going in, like Sub-Zero always has like a very interesting sound selection, taking some traditional Indian instruments, like tablas in this case, and then juxtaposing it against like some funky guitar, some funky bass, some awesome drums, and then even like those trap hi-hat kind of things that were happening. It's just a very cool, eclectic mix of sound.
I agree.
And
I concur.
Taking that sample and like stretching it, slowing it down, that was nice. That was nice and refreshing.
Yeah.
All right.
It worked, and he didn't change it much. He didn't, manipulate it. He was using it in its original, kind of vibe, which is cool. But because of the tempo change and because of the contrast with his elements, it comes across as different, even though it's not tonally different or chopped up or anything like that.
Yes. And also he knew when to take it out and bring it back in. It didn't sustain throughout the entire track, which I think is
good
important.
one. Yeah.
All right, next one I'm seeing. Thank you, Sub-Zero, by the way. Really appreciate it. Good track. I see you in chat there. Thank you. Nicely done. Next track is by Uncle Acid over on Discord, so we can cue that one up and get it ready. And I'll also say, chat.
Let's do it.
We're having a good time today on today's stream. If you do want to participate in future sample challenges, we do these once a month, and our new platform, 343 Studio, is going to be the place where you can submit your tracks, and also just you could become a member and just check out all the other offerings that are over there, like pre-recorded classes, live events, master classes, mentorship sessions, all that good stuff. That just launched today, so check out studio.343labs.com. Link is in the description. And there is a totally free tier that you should at least check out, as well as a 14-day free trial of some of the more premium offerings. So if you sign up for that today, you can actually participate in the collab workshop that's happening later today. So meet a bunch of cool producers from around the world.
I think the collab workshop might be happening right now, actually.
Oh, is it already happening? See, I don't even know what the time difference. So
yeah, but you can drop in anytime. It's okay.
But then they have to leave our
stream.
Like
if you sign up today and you miss the collab today, well, okay, tomorrow or the next day. Like you can drop in
right after the stream.
It doesn't have to. It's like you don't have to. You're not missing out on everything if you miss the first one.
Right.
So just letting everybody know that.
True. That is a good point. So check that out. Collab workshops, mentorship sessions, live classes, master classes, workshops, all that good stuff. Studio.343labs.com. Check it out. TI80 Mark says, got on the free tier for now. We'll take advantage of that trial soon. Nice. Yeah, that's a good way to go for it. Check all that out, friends. All right, let's keep it moving. We got Uncle Acid with Enjoy the Noise. Are we ready to listen?
I am ready.
All right, clicking play in 3, 2, 1, play. instruments are derived from the sample. All the non-percussion, non-drums.
Okay.
I love that little
I like the
delay
drone
on the kick.
Right. Like a 16th note slap on that kick drum. It's pretty trippy.
Yep. Incoming transmission.
I like that chord, that modulating chord that just came in.
Yes.
Could have been louder though. I want that to be like
center stage.
Yeah, it's a cool sound. It could have come up way more. And similarly to the first track we heard, like, I was gonna say I needed some bass, but he just brought some in.
Yep.
But now it's filtering up. Yeah, I feel like with this kind of music, like the kick and bass energy need to be forward.
Totally.
You know, I wonder sometimes about how people, when they're mixing bass, whether they're just using headphones or they got monitors in their bedroom, like what they're hearing versus what we're hearing.
Totally.
They may be hearing more low end than is actually there.
Yep.
And I may be hearing less low end than is actually there because these speakers are a little light in the sub. I mean, these headphones are a little light in the sub.
Yeah, mine as well. Occasionally I'll just flip on my speakers during a stream just to check what I'm actually hearing or what I should be hearing.
I think there's a lot of potential in this.
Totally. The thing that I'll say from
There's
my
some
end,
good ideas that I think, yeah.
I was just gonna say, me being like super into like, you know, like poppy music that's like harmonically always evolving or like catchy chord progressions, things like that. And this, a track that the magic is not coming from an evolution of like a chord progression or the harmony or anything. It's coming strictly from this combination of sounds and the way just the sounds themselves are evolving over time. It was really effective for me the way it's like I was just interested throughout the whole thing to see how it evolved. I think it introduced new things at the right moments.
Yeah, definitely. The tension, that's something for this kind of hypnotic, repetitive music is keeping up the tension.
Yep.
Because if you lose, it's like, and then letting it go and bringing it back like at the right times.
Yeah.
And I think it does a pretty good job of that.
I would say Uncle Acid talked about falling into their rabbit hole as they normally do in these challenges.
It does have a vibe. Like you're kind of you're tripping a little bit here. You're going out there somewhere.
But that's totally cool. This is probably my favorite Uncle Acid track that we've heard so far amongst these challenges. So good job, my friend, Uncle Acid. Well done. Well played. And cool to know that all these sounds came from the sample, all the synth sounds. I'm still bobbing
That's definitely a bonus. Like I'm definitely gonna, when we go to, to judge all the entries and pick a winner, like I'm going to consider things like that, like because I'm a sound designer kind of guy.
Yes.
I love it when people make their own sounds from scratch. And so that's definitely a bonus. I
think that's important for people to know when doing any sample challenge is if you know who the judge is, you kind of know what they're into, I'm queuing up.
Yeah. So you and I will balance each other well in that way.
Totally. Yeah. Even though I will give 70% of the voting rights to you as the guest.
Are you putting it on me? Gosh.
Yeah. I am queuing up the next track, and we have a little bit of context here over on Discord. Puri says, aka Isola Beats, my fourth submission, a dub transmission from the Antipodes. I think that's how you say it. It takes me back to the beginning of my producer journey where I co-produced a bunch of Digidub and Dubby House. Scored a couple releases on Mighty Fat. Keeping it going. It's about 50-50 guitars and 50-50 samples, guitars and vocals mostly, programmed bass and keys. Really love using the sample and the beat it produced. Have lined up a couple of amazing vocalists to take it to the next level. Interesting. So
nice.
Seems like we have a little bit more Indian influence in this one. They possibly will add a vocalist to that. So with that in mind, why don't we give it a listen? I think we're making good time.
Ready to go.
All right, let's click play in 3, 2, 1, play.
Literal dub.
Literal dub.
This is nice. I like the juxtaposition of the sort of traditional dub vibe and the R&B kind of chord progression.
I was gonna say,
and I like how they're using the sample in counterpoint to the guitar, sort of the skank, like the upbeat reggae guitar stab.
Because I don't know if I should be feeling it in sort of like a halftime, like.
You can do both.
Yeah, you can do both.
You can count it fast or slow.
Yeah.
That's the vibe. Now we're getting cinematic with the strings. I didn't expect that. A couple of the vocal samples are a little out of nowhere, but
yeah, I agree.
This part's nice. When it breaks down. I know we may not be exactly in sync, so.
No, I think we're actually pretty close.
Cool. I think, again, hopefully accounting for monitoring how deep the bass sounds is a big deal with this style of music. The style of the melody of the bass line is just right on, but like, could it sound deeper and heavier?
Yeah. It does sound like it's playing up pretty high on the instrument.
And that happens. I've heard plenty of dub. Not all dub has the deep bass all the time.
Yeah.
So you could switch. Sometimes it could be higher and lighter, and then you could have a section where it drops down an octave and it's like thumping.
Mm-hmm. G9 in the chat. What's up?
I mean, no matter how you slice it, this is a very interesting juxtaposition of styles.
Yeah. I mean, it comes down to feel for me. I'm feeling it both ways, and it's just like, I think that's really cool.
Nice work.
Very good work. I agree with you. I talk about this all the time when I do like track reviews and all these streams. Sometimes people with their vocal samples and their little like in lo-fi especially, people use like movie quotes and stuff. Sometimes it's just like too much. Just like pull back on it a little bit, like use them very, very intentionally, because when people do use them very intentionally and it like sets up a drop or comes directly after a drop or whatever it is, it can be very effective. But when you start using like when it's like different voices and it's clearly like different sources, it makes it feel just kind of like a bit too much randomness. But it's not make or break. However, the feel of this track is great. Like I said, I was feeling it floating in halftime, and then I was feeling some of like a slightly more upbeat, like twice that. So really, really cool. And different feel from all the tracks that we've heard today.
It does stand out, definitely.
Yeah. Great work, Isola Beats. Appreciate you. Nicely done. Please go give a follow if you enjoyed that track. Give a follow. Isola Beats, $21 on SoundCloud. Definitely deserves more than that. So, folks, go find them. Go find them. Thank you, my friend. All right, we got more. We got our friend Bill in Discord.
Yeah.
Xenopus, I think is how I say that. Xenopus. W chord challenge, function loops, reggaeton vocal samples, serum and diva, nexus 2, NI sounds as well. We're throwing the kitchen sink at it, as some might say.
It's a lot of big plugins in there.
Yes. All right. V-Vubs. We ready to listen to this one?
Yes.
All right, and hello everybody in chat. We are cruising through doing all these, reviewing this music. So sorry I haven't said hello to everybody, but thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you all. Right now I see Mikey, Danny Chu, Daniel Sohail, Common Beats, Tiaedi Mark. What's up? I see some people from the Restream chat. Janelle Costa, Wistful Snail, Chiyuna, annyeonghaseyo. What's going on? And Common Beats, Sub-Zero, everybody's having a good time. Thank you all for being here. All right. Ready to listen to this track?
Let's do it.
All right. 3, 2, 1, play.
It's got the sample buried in there, but it's there. It's adding atmosphere.
Yeah.
Is this like tropical house?
I guess you could say
or reggaeton? Somewhere in between,
yeah.
I mean, the vocals are reggaeton kind of style.
Right. Mikey, thank you so much for becoming a member.
Now, speaking mix-wise, totally, like very good polished mix. And I'm going to talk about bass again.
Yeah,
it's such a thing that people get hung up on. I mentioned my headphones are bass light, but this one I can tell the low end is where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Because it's translated. Nice transition there.
Very good transition.
I think I like the little bendy vocal sample hook better than I like the full vocals.
I
honestly.
agree. Yes, I was thinking the same thing. But I think having them both is still good. Like having more traditional vocal and hook and verse, and then taking this sample and doing this with it is cool. It makes it sort of like a drop. But this is not the kind of music you associate with having like a drop, you know?
I mean, that's got the earworm quality, where I didn't get the earworm during the verse part.
Right.
But, you know, this is a constructed vocal. It's not like you're doing a full song with a vocalist.
Yes.
I think it's just piecing samples together. And it's hard to make a good song piecing samples together.
Always a challenge, for sure.
I've totally lost track of whether the original sample's in there anymore.
I know.
I mean, now it's not. There it is. I heard it really deep in the background. It's just barely there. It's like it's you know how like when you make a stew and you put a bay leaf in and you're not sure whether you can taste it?
Yeah. I make stew all the time. I can totally relate. I make stew all the time. Yes.
Or soup. Good stuff.
Yeah. I think
not at all the kind of music I make, but I can tell that it's put together really well.
Yes, very, very well. I think from a first of all, Wistful Snail said bay leaf vibes in the chat. Yes, of course. New genre occurred.
One of these days we're gonna do a cooking show.
Yes. Oh, that would be fun. All right, let me not think too much about that because now I have ideas.
We never did the Taco Tuesday.
That's true. I think with this type of track, like it's definitely leaning closer to the pop like sensibility thing with using that top line vocal and just the genre in general. And I think one of the reasons that drop is so effective with that vocal sample, that's just more of a melodic bendy thing. It's very catchy. But when the first verse comes in, it kind of just like comes in. Like the whole groove is here. We have all the drums, we have the chords, we have the top line vocals. So it's like everything happening at once. Whereas if this was like a traditional pop style track, it might start with just some chords and some vocals, like introduce us to all the elements gradually so we can hook onto one thing as new things come in. So it's a little harder to, it just has less of a grabs your ear quality. But like you said before, the challenge of finding these vocal acapellas, which is amazing that we live in a time where you can just download these vocal acapellas and make a song with them. It is always a challenge to make it sound like a intentional song, you know, that was put together. But that said, I think this was done really well, and this was a great take on this sample flip because it's another one that's different from stuff that we've heard today.
I think it could have been a little more obvious. Like a little bit louder in the mix, just to. I mean, all right. You could, if you were to remove it, it would not change. Right. So that's as far as the sample challenge goes. That's the one negative thing I would say is like a little more inclusion of and a little more creativity with the original sample.
Yes,
would be welcome.
Yeah, but cool song nonetheless. So thank you, Synopsis. Thank you. Very clean sounding.
Definitely.
Yeah, nicely done. All right, next one up, we have Aspirin. Made some perk loops and stab in the different grooves with the sample. Was going for tech house, but I feel like it's more of like a G house. Is that how I say that?
I guess.
A goose?
It's either goose or G house. I think goose doesn't really make sense. It's got to be the other one.
Yes. All right. And thank you. I see Joseph McCaffrey in chat. By the way, that thing that Joseph McCaffrey chatted, everybody look at it. Dear Tetro, you're supposed to copy and paste that in chat, people. It's a copy pasta. It's a joke. Thank you. Peace and love. All right, let's listen to Aspirin's track. Ready? The Nightingale. 3, 2, 1, play. I'm being told by Aspirin in the chat that G House stands for Ghetto House.
Ghetto House.
Yes.
All right.
Is it like house with trap elements, I assume?
I'm not sure because from what I know as that genre, it doesn't sound like this at all. But then again, it's decades are passing by and things change.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever it is, it sounds good.
Yeah,
sounds like something people would dance to. This has the bass energy. It's got the bass line that works with the kick, and it's propelling the groove. Yeah.
And then this gigantic synth coming in.
And I hear what he's doing with the sample.
Yes.
He's doing something creative. It's got the flavor of the sample, but he's put some effects on it, and he's bringing it out, and he's changing it a little bit.
That brass.
Right.
Oh, cool.
It's good.
I just wasn't sure if it was going to go for a big drop, but it went for like...
Yeah, it was a slightly anticlimactic. That's a tough thing to pull off, by the way. Like, and actually learning how to know, like when you do this big build-up, whether to
hit hard,
how to make it hit hard when it comes back. And do you remember there was a viral video a little while back? It was like, we like big build-ups and disappointing drops.
I didn't see it, no.
I'm gonna have to dig that up for you.
What's up with this though?
That was really
ends
short.
at 1:45. I know.
Yeah,
more.
It ended like all right. It's just a clip for a sample challenge, but it could have used a little bit more of an ending. But I mean, all right, production-wise, everything sounded good. Genre-wise, I'm not sure exactly whether for me it fits Ghetto House. It's not really, but it could be that things have changed.
Right.
So What does the chat say
genres.
about what genre this sounds like? What genre is this?
I'm not seeing too much chatter about the genre. I think people just like it. People are saying the bass is deep, nice bass tone. A lot of people
Yes.
complimenting that bass, which, yes, that stood out to me the most. And those brass stabs for sure. The brass, but like the perk, White Whiskers, the little top perk offsetting the brass and then pitching down. Yeah, that was like super cool. I just think like you can take a lot of sounds and make it sound like something else, you know, like make it sound like, you know what I'm saying, like a little bit less original. But this combinations of sounds for me sounds like very distinct and cool, like something new. I like it. Like I love that perk thing.
That was well done.
Yeah, and I like subverting expectations, so I almost like the drop at the end not being like this giant, big, brassy, boomy drop and being like more of a subtle thing. To me, I like having my expectations subverted. Goose House.
One thing I'll talk about when we're arranging techno and stuff like that, or just anytime there's a drop, is not like sometimes you can create as much impact by not throwing in the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
So like, for example, if you go from all these crazy high frequency sounds and trippy swirly stuff, and then it just goes down to the kick and the bass only. That sometimes is perfect.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, I bet people could learn more about techno and all these techniques from you over on 343 Studio, don't you think?
Gee, I think I might know what you're talking about.
Oh.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to do a workshop soon, or a masterclass, or whatever we're calling it. And it's Techno Fundamentals, and it's going to be, going over stuff like I just talked about, like, these kind of things that you hear across different styles of techno, whether it's, from like how you put the beats together and a little bit of sound design to a little bit of arranging. It's going to be kind of a overview of some basics and fundamentals of making techno.
Cool. Check that out. Studio.343labs.com, people. It's listen, everybody. You've heard of all the competitors, right? You've heard of the Skillshares of the world. You've searched YouTube for the tutorials, but where else can you get like personalized connection with expert instructors? Not just watch a video, consume it, and hope you understand it. No, live interaction, go deep, that sort of thing. Studio.343labs.com.
That's definitely what the most valuable thing we have to offer is the in the paid tiers of 343 Studio is the one-on-one, the opportunities for one-on-one interaction. It's like getting little micro private lessons that you can drop into whenever.
Andre Von Zark says 343 Labs is the only way. I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. I'm going to bring up Sly Sutter's entry, who I just saw pop up in chat. And then I'll also say Regine jumped in chat and said, this is Electro Clash House. See, this is why I don't like talking about genres.
Electro House? It's not too far off from Electro House. I hear what she's getting at.
It's just all words, you know what I mean? Like, it's a bunch of words thrown together. Let's combine them in different ways. What's a genre?
I'm running out of a paper to space on my page to write notes on all. I've been writing too big. We're not even halfway through, and I've run out of paper.
I could have guessed that you're analog over there, even with your note taking.
No, I'm gonna have to switch to digital note taking.
Oh,
here.
Really? Controversial? You're saying digital is better than analog? That's what I'm hearing?
No. I mean, I like sometimes just scribbling on a piece of paper rather than typing into the notepad here, but I'm gonna have to type into the notepad because I'm out of paper.
This is digital wins again. Interesting. Return to sender. You ready to listen?
Yes.
All right, let's click play in 3, 2, 1, play. Expected a 4 to the floor, and then it wasn't. Somebody knocking at my door. That's what it sounds like.
I like the effects. The sounds like sample rate reduction on the sample. It's giving it a new character. And it's a moody, dark sound. So adding high frequencies to it with that digital distortion is giving it a little bit more bright energy, which is good.
Had fun messing with a proper sampler for the first time. Momentum is a beast. Momentum is the name of a sampler, I assume. I haven't heard of it.
This is a really good example of being creative with the sample, definitely.
Yep.
But a little bit in a sound design way, but also in a musical reframing kind of a way.
Yeah.
Like it's not totally deconstructed, but it's still much different.
Yep.
Than the original vibe.
That dirty bass. You know, at the very least, I hope people save these sounds that they create as like new presets that they can use in future music, you know?
Yeah.
I do like the rhythmic use of space. Those little tiny moments where there's no sound. Sly Starter says Momentum is indeed a sampler and it's 100% free. Interesting.
Big Fish Audio is the developer. I've never heard of this thing.
Here the bass is dominating a little too much, I would say.
I think on the arranging and sort of composition side of this, you know, really we've got drums, bass line, and sample of the chord stabs, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And all the variation is in, you know, melodic changes to the bass, basically. There's a couple of spots where I felt like it was a bit noodly and could be more focused.
Yeah. More intentional melodic stuff.
Yeah, and then, I mean, for dance music and pop music, like, more repetition is better usually. And if you go not that you don't want to have things change, but like sometimes if you wander too far, you lose focus on what was good about the original groove, and it's better either to go back to it more quickly or just stay with it more
Give the listener
solidly.
Something to grab onto.
Yeah, and then, you know, like you could have the 2 or 3 parts of this that worked really, really well, just use those, and then to create variation and add a lead or a vocal sample or another ear candy kind of sound at some point to catch your attention. And yeah,
and
a little more musical focus arrangement wise.
Yeah, I'm just jumping back through the track really quick. At some point during the first minute, within the first minute, we get like those energizing hi-hats and a very interesting snare sound and even like a little crash there. But then towards the end, we don't really get that back. It kind of goes away. And the ending
I think that's what I meant by wandering.
Yeah.
It doesn't, you know, it didn't complete the journey.
Right.
It just went somewhere.
I think once you give the audience energy, it's hard to effectively take it away and go somewhere different unless that's really, really your intention. So I think it's important.
There is a place where that works, and that is in scoring.
Yes, true.
Because a scene might start with a lot of energy, and then it turns into transitioning to a more mellow scene, and the music has to do that.
Yeah.
But for like the dance floor or for a pop song, it can't wander away.
Super hard. Yeah, cool. Thank you, Sly Sutter, for not only showing us this track, but also showing us a new sampler.
Well, yeah, and then also I just really like what you did with the original sample, which is kind of the main point of this. So
yeah, very cool. Awesome. Falguna is up next. Falguna always got something cool for us. This one is called Dark Shadows. I added a delay on the sample to get a rhythm going and made a dark background for the sample with some basic pads, synths, deep basses, and arps. Hope you like it. Yes, we hope so too, Falguna. All right, ready to give it a listen?
Let's go.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. Thick start here at the beginning. Using this sample as a rhythmic element like this, very smart, very effective.
He's dubbing the dub chord.
Dubbing the dub.
Like there's because it already has some rhythmic echo on it, and now it's got more.
Yeah. I dub thee the dubber of the dub. the kick I would have chosen, but overall, like the sound.
Interesting. A kick can make or break a track like this, right?
I agree, yes.
Now, I'm not against it, but I wonder how this is going to translate. Like if you were to play this over a big club sound system,
right?
What would this sound like? I have a feeling it might, the higher frequencies, the sort of the mid parts of the frequencies is going to be very resonant.
And do you think it was a matter of the kick choice, or was the kick just a little bit too loud? Or is it both?
A little both.
Yeah.
All the sounds are nice.
Yes.
Yeah, the kick needs work.
Especially since there's such a heavy side chain just calling attention to it, you know?
I mean, genre-wise, there's so many variations of house, so many variations of techno and similar genres. And certain production techniques come in and out of fashion. Is this type of really heavy sidechain ducking on the kick still a thing, or are people doing less of it? I mean, I'm doing less of it, to be as far as my side of it.
I think not in this degree of being so heavy. Like, I don't think it's like that so much anymore. So I think just for Falguna, my suggestion would be just pull back on that. I think sidechain is still like popular, but I think it's a lot more subtle now. You know,
or it's used in a different sort of rhythmic way, like all the amplitude modulation on like future house chords, where it's just like everything's, you know,
exactly.
And it's not necessarily the kick. It's like a different. It's more.
So it's not doesn't give you that four to the floor pumping. Not as much as it once did.
Cool. Well, you know, good use of the sample.
Yes.
Fit in well with the synths. Nice melody, nice harmony. You know, generally good arrangement for this style of music. You know, drop wise, that may be, you know, I was talking before about the contrast from when there's a break and a drop, like when you come back in, how does it feel? This was very smooth. I think it would, if you were to improve the kick drum,
like it could improve the track a lot for sure.
The energy, and then, I mean, I don't even remember if there's other percussion in there. Is there?
That's a good question. No, there are some there's some plucky synths. That's obviously not percussion, but they add a little bit of that higher sort of energy, the rhythmic energy. But it's only kick in terms of percussion instruments, it seems.
And I'm not saying you have to have like big, loud, bright hi-hats and rides like in a, you know, like certain styles of techno have that like shh on top, but some tight percussion, like short, tight, closed hi-hats.
Yeah.
They don't have to be loud, but just to add a little level of energy, you know?
Even so, it is leaning into that sort of synth wavy 80s style kind of vibe, so like it wouldn't
which also works.
It wouldn't be out of place to have some of those dum, 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 like toms and stuff happening. But I actually think the strength of this track is in its ambience, like especially that first 30 seconds ish where it's just the sample and those chords. Like, man, that is some beautiful sound right there. So like, and the track does develop beautifully, but I do think improvement on that kick will greatly improve this track, as well as just pulling back a little bit on that, you know, more traditional style, like heavy sidechain. Because even when you go back and listen to that transition from the drop to the outro where it's just chords again, it's like super jarring to go from that like heavy sidechain pumping sound to like these straight up chords. Like the chords like almost sound like a relief, like, oh, thank God everything's not pumping so hard again, you know? It's not really like the effect that you want. But Falguna, beautiful sounds here. And this is not I think this, knowing Falguna, him having been around a while, not the typical style and genre that Falguna usually makes. So shout out to you, Falguna, because it sounds really, really good. I really love some of these ambient sections. I just skip back to the middle section, and it does sound like a bit of a soundtrack, like a very cool soundtrack. All right, I could talk about that
Agreed.
for a while. Thank you, Falguna. Thank you for that entry. Well done. The next one is Nusi on SoundCloud. Here's my submission. I'm super new to production. Let's see about that. We love people from all places in their production journey. So let's provide some feedback for Nusi. You ready to give it a listen?
Let's go.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
I'm not sure where the downbeat is, which could be a good thing.
Right. I was trying to follow the chords, but even the chords are...
We've got the dubbed out dub chords again. I like what I think they're going for here. When you have the different chords going against each other, at moments it seems jazzy, and at other moments it seems like they're just in the wrong key with each other.
Right.
So that's the thing when you're working with a sample of a chord, right? And you can't necessarily easily change what notes are being played.
Can't change the quality of the chord.
I mean, you could use like Melodyne or something and try to modify individual notes. It's possible, but it would just be weird in a way. But so for this style of music, like fitting that sample, which, and it's working, like it's doing what it's supposed to do, right? It's got the echo on it and it's going with the kick drum, and it's like house, old school, lo-fi vibe, but a little more syncopated, a little more disjointed and broken, which I like. Mm-hmm. I like the vibe of that. And then I like the wandering other chords played on the synth. And for me, it would be all about making those work together somehow. Yeah,
totally. I think I really love the chords on that kind of like electric piano sound that initially comes in. And I like the trippiness. Like you said, like I don't know what the downbeat is, but like I'm still feeling something.
It was pleasantly unknowing it. Like, there's times where you don't know where the beat is and you're like, I can't find the groove.
Right.
This one, you can find the groove, but it's a little bit disjointed.
I think... A controversial statement. I think the track was stronger before the sample came in. Like I think the sample was just one layer of too much complexity when it came to the rhythm and even when it came to the tonality of the piece.
I agree. And if that goes back to like how they don't work together very well.
Right.
They could work. You could try to figure out what keys to transpose into to make them work.
Yeah.
Or you could do an arrangement where you're using the sample and then it goes to another section without the sample and then the new thing comes in and then you go back to the sample and they could be, contrasting sections.
Yeah, totally. And just remembering that Nusi said, I'm super new to production. I think there's a lot of cool sounds in here for somebody new to production. Like I said, I really love the chords, but also some of these little percussion sounds are cool. I think Eric in chat said, is that a typewriter? Which now that I listen back to that little percussion sound, it does sound like a typewriter, which is cool. So for somebody who's new to production, sometimes people are new to production and they go way out there experimentally and it all just sounds like a bunch of ideas just thrown together. Sometimes they go like super traditional and like try to recreate something and it sounds like a little bit, generic without being too harsh. This sounds like kind of original and cool, showing a little bit of restraint and a little bit of experimentation. So I say shout out to Nusi for coming up with what is kind of the beginnings of what could be a very cool sound, and it's just digging into those concepts of tonality and key and syncopation, which all comes with time.
I'm just noticing the chat here. Bishop91 says they're learning a lot today, which that's great to hear. And then the Wistful Snail chimes in, this stream is like a masterclass.
Really? Wow. Let's not let it go to our heads.
That made me think like, there's only going to be one winner today, right? Of a prize. Like we're going to pick a winner, but it's not, but we're also like, everybody's getting something out of it, right?
Yes.
We're giving you feedback and constructive criticism on your music. So it's still, you're all winners still.
You're all winners. You heard it from John Selway, folks. You're all winners. No, I think you're 100% right. And the other thing is like, I learned so much from things that are not necessarily specifically answering my question or specifically directed at me. So even if I'm listening to like somebody give feedback on somebody else's music, or if I'm watching a tutorial that has nothing to do with a plugin that I actually have, but it somehow relates to my process, I think that is like an unlock for people learning production. It's like, how do you learn from things that aren't necessarily made to answer your specific question? How do you find the thing to learn from anything, really? And I think there's a lot of opportunity for that here, I hope.
Definitely.
Extreme Kraken, thank you for that super chat. Shout out and respect to everyone who participated in this and didn't procrastinate their learning process like I did. LMAO. Catch up later, y'all. Good night. Extreme Kraken, no worries. I'm sure you'll be in it on the next time. Thank you for the 3 months of VIP membership. We got Sam, who I'm going to queue up here. Another Audius link, which opened in a new window for some reason. Let's see if I can get that to open. Yeah, there we go. All right, Sam's track on Audius, Going Deep. Thank you. By the way, if you all want to, if you're a member on the channel and you want to use your free member milestone chat, just click that super chat button. You all get a free one per month, so you can use it or not. Shall we listen to Going Deep by Sam?
I'm ready.
All right, click and play. In 3, 2, 1, play. Sam is from South Africa, and it's their first time participating.
Welcome.
Thank you, Eric.
There's some vinyl crackle going on in this. This has got nice texture and atmosphere already.
Yeah, especially in some of this percussion.
Nice wide mix.
And this little Foley chatter is nice. I like the atmosphere that it creates because it's indistinct. It's not distracting.
But there's something musical in it. It sounds like a little...
It's looped rhythmically or something.
Right. Now it's musical, obviously.
Yeah.
Like it's a loop. Nice fill.
Oh, very nice.
And their chords that they added really fit perfectly with the sample. Like they're combining together to create a nice sort of bubbly, funky texture. It kind of makes the sample sound like it's an echo of the main stab that they added.
Yeah. I'm feeling that bass too.
There's that like kind of snap clap sound.
Yes.
It's really thin and sharp. I almost wish it was a little rounder, a little less highs on that. It's moving along nicely. Like there's a lot of changes, but it doesn't sound like it's disjointed.
Right. Like that last transition into a more minimal section that we're in now. Very, very good.
So like the basic house groove, the drums and the chord stab. Okay, the bass is coming in and out, but like the energy level in the groove is maintained really well, even with the juxtaposition between different vocal samples and patterns and things like that.
Yeah. that guitar kind of bouncing off the sample a little bit. And then this straight bass line here at the end. Oh, that was cool.
It's a nice variation here where it's stripped down just to the chord stab, mostly. That was good.
That was really, really good. Nice job, Sam. For a first entry into a 343 Labs sample challenge, wow, really good. Great incorporation of the sample. Great, interesting sounds placed all around it. Everything from the obvious vocal sample loops to even the more like, I don't know, it just sounded like people outside having conversations, but then you start to notice that that is looped even in a rhythmic way. And I really think that's interesting because you could take any sound and if you loop it and listen to it enough times looped, you start to hear like these rhythmic and even melodic elements in it. And I think that that's a really cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
Man. And
nice.
yeah, the percussion was a little too crispy at times, a little too top-endy, but...
Yeah, I know, like, it has a lot of highs. It's like, I wonder, like, in the mix, some EQ and maybe de-essing on some of those real bright sounds, like... And then, I mean, it's level-wise, mostly well-balanced. Probably, like, the vinyl crackle was a little loud, too. Or, you know what, one thing I would suggest is, like, you start with the vinyl crackle at the beginning, and then as the track progresses, you, like, fade it away or hide it in the background, so it's not as in front, and it doesn't interfere with the other highs.
Yep.
I think I would love to hear this mix be a little darker, right?
Sure.
Less crispy and a little bit more, you know, a little more rolled off. Not to say make it lo-fi, but like a little rounder.
Well, because there's a lot of human elements in this, right? And brightness tends to imply, not necessarily digital, but brightness implying a little bit of like more electronic, more clean. And I think what you're saying about like darker, like make it more human, I guess.
You know the effect, the exciter, right? Which is basically, it's like adding saturation to the high frequencies. It sounds like it was run, maybe there's like some mastering effects, but it sounds like the whole mix has like some bright, you know, exciter on it, and it's making it sizzle.
Yeah.
So maybe that was just a little heavy-handed on the master buzz.
Sure. Thank you, Sam. Great first entry to a 343 sample challenge. We hope to see you in a future one as well. Thank you for that submission. Nice job. All right, next one here is directly in Discord.
I see.
That is from Annie Montano. Hey, everyone, I'm new here. I've been making music for just over a year. Thought the original sample was calling out for a deep and long track. To restrict myself to 3 minutes, I thought a simple vocal song structure might work. So I used vocals samples from a podcast about synesthesia. So let's sit back, relax, and think about synesthesia. You know how it goes.
Oh, see colors when I hear sounds, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
All right.
Let's play it. I'll click play in 3, 2, 1, play.
Simple little icons, little rectangular icons.
Podcast by a robot.
Is the chord in there, is that the sample pitched up a lot?
Oh, you know?
And then there's the low one.
Yeah. Maybe it is.
I like the low one too.
You don't need to know about the structure of the world. You just need to know simple symbols about what to do. Do this and don't do that to stay alive.
This is kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's like clean and minimal. Oh, there's the original sample. So we'll need to clear that up. Are the other little chord step sounds made from the original sample?
All right.
There's circuits and software and voltages and magnetic fields, but that's not what we see. We see, simple little icons, little rectangular icons.
I love that little riser sound. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Simple little icons, little rectangular icons. That interface allows us to control all the complicated circuits and software. that's what evolution has done for us.
I like the effect on the vocal samples.
Objects is not a picture of reality. It's a user interface.
A little distracting for me.
Explicitly to hide reality.
Well, maybe the vocal could happen less often
Yeah.
or quieter.
It does sound like a enemy AI you might meet in a video game. You know?
Right.
What I see when I look at an apple on the table is very much like what I see when I look at a blue icon on my desktop.
Wish there was a bit. I'm all about bass today. I wish there was. There's a little bass line in there.
Some sense,
There
it's
is?
Very short.
real experience. The
And it's like a
apple
bump,
on the
bump,
table
bump, like
is a
just
real
this little
experience
melody in the
happening.
background that comes in and out.
It
But it's
bears
not
no
making a
resemblance
groove,
to
really.
an objective reality.
And so it's almost a bass line, but
Oh yeah.
if it were an octave lower and louder
Yeah.
and bigger,
Icon.
it would make all the difference.
Icon.
Digging on the 808 cowbell, which sounds like it's in tune with the chords.
Yeah. I think that's redeeming
That's
it
the
a
thing
lot.
with the 808 cowbell. Like it's playing a fifth.
Yep.
And if you use an 808 cowbell in music that has other chords and melodies going on, and it's in the wrong, it's an original tuning, and you haven't
Yep.
adjusted it, it can kind of mess things up. So here, it's tuned to fit the harmony of the chords, which is great.
Yeah. I think this is a cool little experiment of a track, you know? I
Yeah.
really like, especially at the beginning, the minimal nature. I definitely would love to know if those initial sounds were coming from the chord. Come from the sample, because that would make it even more impressive, I think.
Sure.
But it's still a cool sound at the beginning, the way you have the juxtaposition of the lower chord and that little higher, sprinkly sound at the beginning. And then more and more rhythmic elements start to filter in. So I think it was cool. It showed a bit of restraint. It didn't go too many crazy places, you know?
And good, like putting this into the framework of someone who's new, who's
Yeah.
only been doing this for a year. You know, you can hear there's a clear idea and some confidence here about most of it.
Yep.
The basic groove is the biggest thing for me. Like for this style of music, all right, it's kind of minimal and light, and if you put big heavy bass on it, it might make it less light. So I'm not saying it's gonna be like dropping heavy crazy whomps, but like filling in the low frequencies a little bit more with the groove in mind, I think would balance it out really well.
Right. Totally. And I think the existing structure could actually do really well with an improved bass line too. Like I can already like hear like it's just a slightly more active bass that's adding to that groove a little bit more. Cool.
Nice.
Thank you, Annie, for that submission. Well done, well done. Thank you for your first submission, I guess, to the 343 Sample Challenge, and you're new here. Welcome. All right, Janelle is up next. Janelle, who's been hanging in chat, I know, because I've seen. I finally had some time off and managed to put this together today. Thought I missed the deadline. Could have had an extra day. Couldn't we always have had an extra day, John? Couldn't we always?
We could. I'll definitely use a little extra time today, I'll tell you.
Totally. All right, I got Janelle's track. Andre, thank you for the 11 months. I saw that come through. Thank you so much. Andre says, we learn even when they both say something silly. Bayleaf energy. What can we say?
Exactly.
Cooking stream coming soon. All right, let's listen to Janelle's track. Here we go. Pressing play in 3, 2, 1, play. Already loving that sustained pad sound in the background. Ooh. Little percussive flutter thing.
Mm-hmm.
We got a good stew going, says Wistful Snail. That's right.
Little dreamy, trancey techno vibe going on here.
Mm-hmm.
The lead sound it's definitely giving me like 90s trance.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the bass line.
This bass line is back. This bass sound is back in a big way.
Did it ever go away?
That's a good question.
good variation in this section.
Yes. Man, every time a new sound comes in, I'm like, yes, that's great.
And that's an appropriate drop there. It's
Subtle
exactly what I was talking about, where, well, the kick comes in and the bass comes in, but the other stuff gets out of the way.
Yeah.
And then you get the bass line kind of is more featured, even though the chord is still, from the sample, is still in there. New melody, but it's musically appropriate. It's easy when you're going from one section to another section and switching from one melody to another one for them to kind of make a left turn or a right turn in the wrong direction, but this time it went the right direction.
Yeah.
Now we're back to the original lead.
And I could say an overuse of that trance lead could get like kind of annoying or like just a little too much for the track, and it's being used just right, especially with that filtering in and out.
Well, that would be my one thing to say about the filtering in and out. It's the same every time.
So make a little more variation on it.
Like it sounds like just an LFO going up and down over many bars, or just a straight ramp up and down on the automation. I think the tone of the lead line should match the energy of what's going on behind it, not just arbitrarily go up and down.
Sure. It could fit in the groove a little bit better, probably.
Good arrangement for this style of music for just 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, you fit in a lot of stuff, but it didn't feel super rushed, which, normally like a track like this is going to be like 6 minutes long.
Right.
Longer intro, longer outro, like mixing in and out, longer break in the middle. But so this is a well done arrangement for this style of music.
Totally.
For this short amount of time. Yeah.
And like I said, every time a new sound came in from the new synths, I love the bass sound. I love the leads used. I love the ambient pads, even that percussion stuff that happens in that break around like 1:15-ish before that subtle drop. Man, I love the way those sync up. And then when that drop happens at 119, 118, whatever it is, there is a percussion element that is syncing up on top of the bass line that almost makes it sound like they're one instrument. And I really love when two instruments come together like that and like kind of create something new. So much ear candy, says Wistful Snail. I agree. On that lead, that trance lead thing, I almost wonder if like the LFO was like half or a quarter of what it was, so it was syncing up with like quarter.
I see what you mean.
And it was like
if it was faster.
Yeah, like I think that would be cool too. But hey, this was Janelle. Fantastic track.
Nice job.
Man, I don't know. We listen to so much music on these streams, and I always feel this way when I hear somebody's track like this, like Janelle, who's submitted before for sure. I'm always like, this is like the best track I've heard from Janelle so far, right?
So you're hearing a lot of progress.
I'm hearing a lot of progress, and that's really great. When we do these things for long enough, like we've been doing the sample challenges for a while, like we can see real progress in the community. It's like crazy. You only get that with like long term, like
right,
which is really great. It's definitely affirming for sure. All right, the next one is we're gonna have a little bit of a visual journey to go on as well. We have TI-80 Mark. TI-80 Mark is always doing this little stop motion kind of like videos accompanying.
There's a video.
Yeah, yes.
You're gonna show it, right?
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Got it right up here on the screen already.
Nice.
A loop of the sample is used through the length of the track as a constant to pull you through. You can even see in the character's eyes. So try to follow along with the story, John. I will be asking you for a full synopsis by the time it's done. All right.
Good thing I'm taking notes.
Yes. Altered Breaks by TI-80 Mark. Let's click play in 3, 2, 1, play.
This is fun.
It's like metal. electric bass. Dirty. I love it.
And that's an electric bass being played live. That's not a synthesizer.
Yeah, pretty sure. It's not live.
Well, you fooled me.
Yeah, which is really cool. Which bass is it, TI-80 Mark?
Aha. Ample bass with amps and saturator. So it's a sample-based bass guitar. And it's free.
And it's free!
Well, there's a free version of it anyway.
Nice.
Good arrangement.
Totally. And
I like the sample chord stab being used, you know? The way it's...
The delay works
similar,
really well
but
for
different.
the urgency of the track.
And the drums are nuts.
Yes. That's why I'm saying it feels like System of a Down, Korn, like some kind of like rock metal, like almost sensibility.
Mix-wise, I wouldn't mind hearing the drums be more present. Like they're really like mostly in the center and a little bit thin sounding.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind some more punching through every now and then.
I was wondering if the drums were like some type of sample that might have been sped up or something that was like contributing to that like kind of thinness of the sound. But
I mean, I think it's programmed, right? I mean, I don't know, maybe there are cut up loops in there.
Yeah. But
no,
yeah,
vibe-wise, good. You know, it's cohesive. You know, you've got the lead element and the bass, and sometimes they play together, and sometimes they counterpoint, and the frenetic energy is pretty frenetic. It is pretty constant. And there are points where it sort of gives you some space. That's probably one thing I would want to look for in this is a breath every now and then.
Yeah, it is good to give your listener a time to catch their breath in such a frenetic, heavy track like this. I'll say TI-80 Mark, this goes a little bit harder than your usual tracks, and I think that that's a good thing. And I'm also catching the melody a little bit more than I usually do in TI-80 Mark's track. Like that bass line I'm really grabbing onto. It ultimately is like sort of the leading melody almost throughout the whole thing. Something to sing along with, you know? That's what I'm kind of always looking for. Like, what's the thing I'm singing along with here? What's the thing I'm going to be humming when I walk away from the track?
I mean, just by sheer repetition, that main bass line and melody is stuck in my head now.
Yes, totally. And also, like with a frenetic, like heavy, fast-moving track like this, it can be really effective to do a section where you go to halftime, whether that's like at the three-quarter mark of the track, somewhere towards the midpoint, maybe just somewhere towards the end. Like doing a halftime feel, going from this like super fast, frenetic. Yeah, frenetic is totally the right word. It can be really, really effective. So just consider that. But I think this is cool. So story synopsis, John. What happened to our alien friend?
I got caught up in the details of the music, honestly. I think it's great that there's a video and that there's a narrative.
Yes.
I think my attention deficit disorder is I had to choose what to focus on.
Yeah, I get that.
You know, going back and forth, like I'll watch it again and I'll watch the video really.
Yeah. Well, you should wait for the director's
test
cut
me on it later.
because there are a lot of deleted scenes that you're going to want to see as well.
I see. All right.
It makes the plot make a lot more
version.
sense. Thank you, TI-80 Mark, for that submission. And just in time for me to scroll through Discord and find the next submission. Discord is like refreshing or something. So it's like spinning Discord. Please.
Do you use just the browser version, or do you have the actual app?
I'm using the actual app. I don't know if they pushed an update or something. We're looking into issues with people sending messages, logging in, streaming videos, etc.
Great.
They're still going to hear you, but I'm going to turn my screen cap off for a second and just kind of refresh Discord. Well, hello, everybody.
I put the Discord app on this Mac Mini M1 we have here, and it's slow.
Oh, really?
It takes forever to load up pages, and sometimes I'll click a link and I wait. So I stopped using it. I'm just using it in the browser again.
Yeah, sometimes I flip back and forth. Sometimes for these streams, it's a little more convenient to use it for the browser. Very interesting that it's just... But your Discord is working, huh? So it's not like a Discord problem? And I'm talking to you, so my internet is fine. All right, actually, let me just do this in the browser. I can very easily do that. Just realized that. If it works, hopefully it will. Thank you, chat, for hanging in there with us. If you don't know, we are live right now with the 343 sample challenge that we do monthly. And basically, we pick a server, and we pick a sample, and we share it with our community, and everybody takes a moment to flip that sample, make a cool track with it. So those are all the entries we're going through today. So Aika says servers are down. Eric's saying my Discord down too. Okay, thank you. John, whatever you do, don't refresh your Discord.
I've got the links up right here. I'll give you the links.
Perfect. All right. We are, by the magic of the internet, going to keep going. But you know what, John? This actually is a good point, because we won't even need Discord next time, because we'll be doing this 100% on our new platform, 343 Studio. So get ready for that, folks. Studio.343 Labs. You can jump on, join for free. We won't have to rely on Discord going down for our entries. We're going to try to keep plowing through right now as is. So stay tuned with us. We got ready for the next one, and I think we're going to be good because John's got the links for us. All right, I'm clicking play on this. Let's keep going.
All right, this is Arrow, right?
Yes, in your head. Press and play in 3, 2, 1, play. Sample is the main atmosphere and most of the bleep bloopy effects.
Deep, I like it.
Heck
spacey. Your candy. It's got some bass. That's kind of our main melody, isn't it? It's the bass line. Tickling the ivories there.
Yeah.
Nice arpeggio there.
I like that. It's like almost sound design-y, the way these sounds are floating in and out.
I missed the bass. Here.
True. I mean, we're using piano anyway. Could we have replaced the bass with some bass notes on the piano just to fill that void?
Even just some sustained notes that are, the root of the chord playing would be.
Yeah.
Like that.
I will say here, the bass stronger when it's in that lower subby region.
Right. I was thinking about that, like the tone of the bass and how it's mixed. You're doing this kind of sine wave with a little maybe with a little saturation or something. And when you play it up high, it kind of gets too
dominant.
Yeah, well, there's this high resonance. In the mix, you'd want to use compression or something to pull that back, or EQ to bring back the frequencies that are a little too much. Both, really. And I like it's wandering, it's ambient, atmospheric. There's some improv going on here. It sounds like in the moment kind of stuff. There's some really nice moments that maybe you should repeat more. We talked about this earlier. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Kind of just drifts off at the end there, but another one of the submissions, had that kind of a wandering element to the arrangement, and this does that. It's more effective because of the style. Like, it's supposed to be wandering.
It feels like it's supposed to be wandery. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
But still, it could use a little bit of rooted in a groove as a contrast.
Yeah.
Like some parts, like the parts where the bass was the best, like repeat those.
Yes, totally.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, that bass sounds great when it's in that low frequency thing. And let's not forget that Arrow says some of those bleepity bloop things are created from the sample as well. So I really like...
It's a good sound design in here.
Yes, I love feeling like there's just like things floating around me, like these little incidental things. For me, in my music creation process, I get too caught up in like make a melody and like here it is. It's an instrument playing a melody. So I really like when people are good at like doing like little incidental stuff that's just sort of floating around, and maybe it happens one time and it never happens that way again. Like I really like that and appreciate that. Nicely done, Arrow. Thank you. You got another link for me before your Discord crashes?
Yeah. So next we have Andre Van Zank. Let me just cut. It's a YouTube link.
Nice. And we actually might be back up.
All right. You have that link now.
Cool. Thank you. Let me see. I'm just jumping. I think, actually, we won't have to do that. Cool. Yeah, all right. We're back. Thank you, Arrow, for that. I'm pausing that track. I'm getting ready to play Andre. Andre Vazark, Hint of Acid. Here's my submission. This was a lot of fun to produce, mix, and master. I used a lot of the Korg Volca keys, RD6 drum machine, Analog TD3, all hardware. And finally, voice is recorded by me. P.S. Any feedback is welcome. Hint of Acid. But you told me all about the gear, but you didn't tell me how did you use the sample, Andre?
Okay.
Let us know in the chat. Out. Yeah, we'll find out. Hopefully. All right, I'm pressing play. In 3, 2, 1, play.
Do you feel what I feel? Do you feel it?
Do you feel it, John? Do you feel it?
Tell me that you feel it.
Feel something.
One trick.
Something's about to happen.
Hi, Panther.
I hear the sample.
I hear the sample as well.
And similarly, we got some sample rate reduction, digital distortion happening on that sound.
It's being played on a rubber band, I think. Which I like.
Strange vibes, and I mean that in a good way. Like, it's definitely kind of, got the weird trippy acid thing going on.
Bit abstract.
I think we may be missing some energy level in the drums and the bass.
Yeah.
It sounds very light.
Not only that, it does sound like there's sort of some type of filtering on the drums. Like there's not a ton of high end.
This
Maybe that'll
cool.
open up. Vocal is a bit aggressive, I would say. Yeah, because there is high content in this. Obviously, some of these synths are like existing in that higher register. But why does it not exist on the drums?
This track could be like for kind of an underground, raw, heavy, crazy acid track. Could be. There's so much potential. The mix is problematic.
Yeah.
This is not going to sound big and pumping. It's not as big as it wants to be.
Yeah. And a good way to test this is if I just like lower the volume on this track all the way, basically the only thing I can hear is the vocal sample.
Yeah.
So like that's one way to know exactly if something is too loud or something's too soft.
So I appreciate the idea behind this and the attitude behind this and what you're trying to do. All, I recognize it, right? And I can feel like, and it's got the personality in it because it's your voice and you're having fun and it comes through. But yeah, there's some fundamental frequency mix level recording technical stuff that needs to be learned so your idea is as good in real life as it is in your head.
Yes.
I think.
I agree. And a lot of hardware going on here, so we don't know what the actual setup is for recording all that hardware. Who knows?
It's hard to do, like, your hardware only. It's more difficult to get a good mix.
Yeah.
If you're especially if you're operating on a budget and you don't have like the best mixer and outboard gear and like really great monitors and everything. And like a lot of people are capturing, a few pieces of gear through a little mixer, maybe into USB into their computer, and like the workflow of doing that actually can get really complicated.
Yep.
So, yeah, there's definitely some. Sorry, I'm stumbling here.
That's okay.
I think it's past. I haven't eaten lunch yet, so I'm starting to lose it. But
get John
I think you get the point. I don't need to elaborate any further.
Yes.
Where's my bay leaf?
Exactly. At the very least, I can picture Andre von Zark being the master over all these machines and just like having a really good time, like crafting all these sounds and that's great.
It has a unique vibe and a unique flavor. There's a million acid techno and house tracks in the world, but like if your personality can come through and give it a different vibe, that's a big part of the battle right there.
Yeah, and Andre does remind us in chat, which I should have remembered, but Andre does make a lot of 8-bit music. So previous tracks that I've heard, like you can hear that, but that might also have an effect of like their mix knowledge and the kind of the techniques that they're used to using. So
could be.
All right, let's keep it rolling so that John can get to lunch sooner rather than later, please. We only have 3 more entries left, so we're making pretty good time.
Wow, we're making really good time. This is great.
AJS, here's my submission. I used the sample as rhythmic backbone to fill out the space. In the high mids, mood-wise, the year is 2006. Imagine we're at a time where we can flash back to 2006. The mood is 2006. I'm not going to read all of this in the interest of time, but
I was living in Berlin in 2006.
All right.
Not full time, but part time.
Okay,
I'm an
Mr.
old man.
Fancy techno man.
Yeah.
Well,
to me.
I was not in high school yet, so I'm clicking play. In 3, 2, 1, play.
Every time we touch.
Cool.
All right. The story totally makes sense.
I'm reading
along
it now.
with this as a soundtrack.
Chat, read the story as we're listening.
Every time we touch. Every time we kiss.
I like the subtle editing of the sample.
I wonder
It's
what
dramatic, right? This is cinematic and dramatic.
Yes. Without the story, like the story adds a lot. You know, like having a picture in your mind while you're listening to it. It's amazing how that works.
But I also think if you didn't know the story and you heard it in a nightclub, it would also be very effective. Like, this isn't going to be like daytime festival big PA music. This is like intimate basement party music.
How about that bass?
Dark room.
I like that bass.
This to last.
Cool. Good use of vocals too. The vocals set up the story really well. And I also like that the vocals are often backed by like I don't know if it's a sub version of the vocals or like in the intro, I think it's just backed by the bass. Which
There's
is
a lot
really
of confident
effective.
choices being made in this. It's very good.
Yeah, and AJS says the vocals are my own. We love that. Cool. Overall mood-wise, sound selection-wise, I really liked a lot of the choices. The one place I thought it got a little meandering was the entrance of the piano.
I agree.
It started playing like what sounded, it wasn't very much like a flowing melody, and eventually the piano developed and I thought it made sense that it was piano. It was playing like more like legato style notes, but when it first came in, it was playing more like plucky and making these big jumps and not sounding too like I wasn't catching on to what it was trying to say. So to me it was almost like, did that even need to be a piano? Because on a piano that sounds especially unnatural, but on maybe a different synth sound, some of those leaps and some of that meanderingness might not sound so out of place. Piano, I feel, is a really intentional instrument.
That piano section was also where I had some questions, and I think it would take a little bit more sophisticated composition to make that piano section work really, really well. Right? So it's sort of a musical composition level that, like, if you could pull it off, with the chops, if you have those chops to play the piano the right way and to combine that melodic idea with whatever, I feel like, I don't know if you're a pianist, if you play two hands easily, effortlessly on a piano, like if you were actually like coming up with a piano part, two-handed real piano part composed, that could work. But if it's just a couple of little one note here, one note there, slight variation here, maybe it'll work. But what you're saying is true, that there are other sonic areas to be explored that might be easier to make work. Yeah.
Because when it's one note at a time, it brings a lot of focus to the line that you're playing. If like what you're saying, and I can really hear it and picture it now, if it's like a two-handed piano part that does meander and that does go a little bit outside of the tonality and rhythmically you can pull that off really well.
Or just even if it is just one simple melody, it's got to be perfect.
Yeah, exactly. AJS, great submission. Thank you for that. Cool little cinematic approach. Thank you for the story as well. Perhaps another one that could benefit from some type of visual element. I mean, it doesn't have to be a whole movie like TI-80 Mark, but you see those lo-fi streams all the time that have that simple looping animation or something, but the mood of that visual against the music really, I don't know, it helps you digest it differently.
Probably like this little mood description would be the beginning of a script for a short video.
Sure. Yeah. Struli is up next. First time submitting. Struli had a blast making this, thinking it will have to end up on the album. Amazing. We love that. Struli, if this is a picture of their studio as the album art, cool studio.
Nice.
All right. I'm going to click play. In 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, kick smacking me in the face, but in a good way.
Yeah, it's a nicely processed 909 kick. It's like it's got like it's raw, but it's balanced.
I've been waiting. I thought more people would do this with the sample.
Transposing the pitch of the sample. Yes, this is the first one.
Yeah, it's crazy. What's up, I Am Legend?
I like this. I'm dancing to this already. There's that 909 ride I was talking about earlier. The little melody that comes in.
Oh, and this nice little triplet thing.
Yeah.
Very cool. Oh, that reverse kick too.
You know, it can be easy for things to be really messy when you combine triplets and straight 16ths and straight 8th notes all at the same time, but here it's working.
Yeah, the orchestration has a lot to do with that, right? Like that higher top end
Right.
synth.
And the energy, the arc of this arrangement is great.
Yes, each part has a purpose, you know?
I mean, if any of you know what kind of music I make and what I'm into, like this is my cup of tea in terms of deeper techno. All right. Nice work.
Very nice work. Well done.
This track needs to be twice as long.
Twice as long. You heard it from John himself. You know what I'm liking about this is like, you know, I do my monthly track review streams on my channel, and like there's a varied amount of varied kinds of music, but it never quite goes in the direction of today. So like I'm really glad. Like we're getting a varied amount of music, but in some of these more, I guess you could say, traditional electronic genres, I love hearing them, and everybody's doing so well with them.
Yeah, this is a nice variety.
Great variety. Truly. Thank you for that. What can I say? Like I said, I liked every sound that came in. I liked that every sound had its own purpose. Mix was solid too.
Yep, definitely good. And you know, you were the only person that we noticed anyway that did a chord change or transposition of the sample in that deliberate way. So that was nice.
Which would have been my first instinct if I was doing this challenge. Yeah, I'm so surprised that
Everybody thinks about it in a different way.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about these sample challenges, folks. All right, awesome. Let's keep it rolling because we are down to our last one, our last track.
Unreal.
Amazing. We have a track from Aika. Here's my entry to the challenge. Had to hurry in the last minute, facing some embedding issues on Discord. All right, I don't want to hear technical excuses. Excuses. People are asking if you could still enter. Folks, these entries we post about this like pretty much a month in advance. So if you do want to get in on the next one, it will actually not be hosted on Discord. It will be hosted over on studio.343labs.com, and you can sign up there totally free. The link is in the description. Check out what we got going on there. We just launched that platform today. So check it out, make an account, even check out the free 14-day trial and participate next month. You know what? I think we haven't nailed down these details yet, but I think I'm going to provide a sample for the next sample challenge, and it will be a free sample that goes along with my sample pack that I will drop. And if I say that now, John, I'll actually finish the sample pack by the time the next sample challenge happens.
We will hold you to it.
Exactly. All right, let's listen to this last track by Ica. Can you just tell Thomas just keep walking back and forth through the hallway behind
Yeah,
him?
you could see him back there, right?
at least he could do his wave. All right, let's listen to this track. I'm gonna press play. Ica did write about the sample. I'm gonna press play in 3, 2, 1, play. Make a melodic house style beat in the style of a lot of labels that I've been following. Took the sample, added some bit crusher and phaser to change it up a little. Hi, Katie Cat. Big fan of that synth phrase.
This has got the kind of end of the night vibe. This is like a good one to finish up
closer.
with.
Yeah.
It's a little bit wistful. Remember those great times we had?
Yeah. Well, the album art is like it's like you just reach the top of the mountain and you're above the clouds kind of thing. I'm waiting for a call and response on that melody, or at least echoing it on another synth.
Right. There's a bit of there's a space there for something.
Yes.
I do want some kind of counter melody in here, maybe.
Yeah, I like that it was introduced with space. But
another thing I'll say is the string pad in there could go away and come back.
True.
In the middle.
Yeah, introducing the melody with space is effective, but then filling that space later on is even more effective, you know?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, like the pads are too loud.
Yeah.
It needs to be, you need to make some space in there. I mean, this is a good track. Nice vibe. It reminds me of some things I've heard of. But it's a good rendition of those things. The kick drum's thin.
Right.
So, and me and bass, a little more bottom end, a little more thump to balance out the floatiness.
You know what I'm noticing about the synth pads? Are they mono, or are they just like super centered in the mix?
There's like I think it might be an EQ thing, but yeah, they are right. Like having a more spread out stereo sound to make space in the middle would be good.
Yeah.
It could also just be there's some high mids that are a little too, that could be reduced with EQ.
Yep.
Or it just needs to be turned down a little bit. But yeah, you're right. There's a lot of kind of mid-range energy in the center.
Yes.
And it's covering up, like the melody should be standing out and the pad should be farther away.
Yeah.
So like quieter and maybe a stereo effect or a little reverb to kind of wash it out slightly. Or, on the synth, you could bring the filter down so that it's still there, but it's not bright.
Right.
That would work. There's a lot of different ways you could do it.
But like you said, good entry to end on. Good end of the night, end of the stream vibe. But the stream is not over, folks.
No, because we got to figure some things out.
Right. We are going to deliberate. There were a lot of really great entries, a lot of different takes, a lot of different flips on this sample today. We can only choose one that ultimately, wins the prize, wins Arturia Pigments 3.5. Thank you to Arturia for supporting the sample challenge, by the way. But that is a very difficult decision that we are about to make, just based on our tastes, based on what we think, based on, different criteria that we will develop. So don't feel too bad if you don't get selected. Like I said, we can only pick one. And of course, there will be other opportunities in the future to enter more sample challenges. And hopefully, at the very least, if you're sitting here chilling in this stream, you have at least taken some value from learning from our commentary or just from hearing other people's tracks and other people take on the challenge. So what I will do is leave you all with kind of a little lo-fi vibe, be right back screen. So you can go grab some coffee, grab a beverage, chill to the lo-fi beats. And then we will be back shortly and let you all know who our favorite was of the stream and announce that winner. So thank you to everybody for watching. We will be right back. Continue chatting in chat. If you're not chatting in chat, I know you got up and left. So watching. Okay, see you soon. Back with the winner momentarily. right, we are back, everybody. Welcome back. Come back to your screen. Thank you all for being here. We have chosen a winner, or our standout. Not an easy choice. Even as I was changing scenes to come back on stream, John was talking about how pained he was to have just chosen a winner when there were... It's a very hard criteria. We were discussing creative flip of the sample, and then overall just like, I guess, technical prowess, like how good was the mix, how good was the song, how much did we like the actual music. Like, it's a lot of things to consider.
Right. I find it, like I was saying earlier, the way we're handling this and we're giving you guys feedback and, giving you a chance to like kind of share your music here in this forum. And so everybody's a winner in that way, or like everybody's coming away with something. But like, as far as it's really hard to pick one because there's so many good things about so many different entries.
Yeah.
And, some of it's subjective and some of it is personal choice.
Yeah.
I really like a lot of stuff, and there's some really, impressive stuff going on.
In all different genres, all different styles, all different
and whether,
uses.
And I was trying really hard to like find the one that just has the exact balance of everything, but it's almost impossible.
It's impossible.
We'd be making you wait forever. So, going with my gut. Right. And you heard which one I had a really positive reaction to. And it was like a combination of like, and this isn't just me. We both discussed this going through it. But yeah, I think based on what I'm into and how the whole thing fit together musically and mix wise and sonically, and then how the sample was used.
Tell us already, John.
It's a balance of like the original vibe of the sample, but then it's changed just enough to make it different and unique and working with the musical idea. I'm going to go with Struli.
Okay, Struli. Give it up for Struli in chat. A big round of applause. Yes. Yeah. This was, I think, one of the most proficient, showcasing proficient skills in the entries for sure, which is like not our criteria generally. We're not like, oh, who's the best producer? That's not really what this is about at all. Like John was saying, like we're looking at a number of different things in terms of like creative flip of the sample, and it's really tough with a sample challenge because you can creatively flip a sample. There were a lot of great entries where people made new instruments from the sample and it like wasn't recognizable. Then there were people who just took the sample and just straight up kind of looped it through the track. And then there's like one halfway in between, somewhere in between that, like Struli did, where they created something new with the sample. It is recognizable, but then that transposition aspect allows them to create something new with it.
Well, and that's so simple. And, like it's just this one little idea that worked. And that sometimes that's all you need. I also think with techno, a lot of times that it's, it doesn't have to be musically complicated to be really effective. So that's an example of that. But, I feel like we should have some honorable mentions. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Like, obviously, like the sound design aspect of Wistful Snail, like taking that sample and completely just deconstructing it. And like, you don't even recognize it anymore, but we know that all of the sounds are made from that, even the drums. I mean, that's a big lift. So I got to mention that. And then AJS, like that was a very unique track. Very, you have some good skills there. It's definitely, it's personal. It's telling a story. You've got a good voice. You get some really good ideas. That you're really far along in I think in what you're trying to do, developing that idea. So yeah, I just want to call those out. Sam,
yes, great one from South Africa. Great use of those field recording or like the conversation vocals and stuff like that. Yeah, a lot of really strong entries. And you know what I think it is? We were talking about progress before and like seeing progress. I think the longer we continue to do these sample challenges, the harder it will get because people in our community will continuously get better and better at making music. And it will just make it that much harder. So that's good.
I really hope people like stick around and continue to be a part of this, and then, we're doing this whole 343 studio thing, and like what we're doing here is really like a good example of the things that we're trying to grow and foster with the 343 studio program. And like it's community. You said earlier, it's like a gym membership. I think it's more like your community center.
Yeah, totally.
Right. This is your your music community center online, and you might pay a little a little fee to help out, and then you come in for your classes and you drop in and you get your feedback and you meet some people and you do the sample challenge. So
yeah. So folks, if you are not sure what we're talking about, just head to studio.343labs.com. It's our new platform for music producers, people learning music production, people that want to be part of a music production community. Join us. You get all these amazing kind of interactive like feedback sessions, masterclasses, workshops, mentorship. Then we're adding pre-recorded classes. We have so many in the pipeline that are already shot and coming. So stay tuned for that. To let you know, there's a free tier that you can join and get in on some video classes, some masterclass recordings, and enter the sample challenge in the future. Not only that, there are 2 other paid tiers that you can test out, test the waters, see what you like with our 14-day free trial. So if you go to studio.343labs.com, you can check that out. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. We're trying to do something different. We of course have our valuable kind of long form courses, which you can still take. But this is kind of a new, different take on the music educational thing, kind of continued regular support, a regular community, like John said, that you can keep coming back to. So studio.343labs.com. Shout out to Struli once more, and shout out to everybody who participated. Congratulations, my friend. We'll be reaching out to get you that prize real soon, probably over on Discord. But thank you. And John, thank you so much for joining me and providing us with that dope sample and inspiring all these tracks.
This is fun. I love it. And I love doing this kind of feedback.
Yeah.
As part of the classes and as part of 343 Studio, this is what we're here for. So I'm happy to be involved, and thanks for having me.
Totally. What you got going on in your show on Saturday?
Some kind of techno. Lately, I've been kind of off the cuff a little bit with it, and it's fun for me that way. It's like, all right, here's a new plugin, let's see what happens, that kind of thing. So
cool.
You'll just have to tune in to see.
Tune in at youtube.com/343labs. John will be streaming live on Saturday. And if you want to watch a stream before that, tune in on Friday for Abe Duque. He's always doing something cool on the 343 Labs YouTube channel as well. Housekeeping stuff for me. No stream from me on Thursday. I will be back next week, but stay tuned for a new video on Sunday. Follow me on Instagram for more stuff like that. And that's going to be it. The last thing you should be doing on your way out of the stream is going to studio.343labs.com. Check it out. Free tier and free trial. All right, John, let's sign off to the people.
Nice one.
Peace out.
See everybody.
Congrats, Struli. See y'all later. Have a good one.